Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Cool Guy Podcast. This is your host, Marvin G, along with my wife,
Caroline.
Carolyn. I don't know why my instinct is always to say Carolyn. I must have heard it from somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Caroline. Yeah. It's spelled Caroline, though.
Well, anyways, before we get started, guys, please go write us a review. Give us a 5-star rating. If it's anything less than that, don't even bother. But we need the reviews. We need the ratings. They definitely help when other people are looking for something to listen to. We want to make sure that this is a good option for them. And obviously, we hope that you're enjoying what you're listening to. Remember that you can follow us on Instagram at the Cool Guy Podcast. That is the handle on Instagram. We've had quite a few polls going after our last episode, which I thought was really cool. Thank you for being interactive with that. And if you really need to get a hold of me and Instagram isn't good enough, and you want to email me, you can do that.
Write me a letter.
Yeah, write me an email at podcastcoolguy@gmail.com. All right, now that we got that all out of the way, welcome.
Welcome back.
You're just back from California.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I was gone about 6 days.
And we didn't actually find anybody to fill in for you.
I figured.
I thought that we would just give it a break. There was quite a bit going on, and we're like, all right, you know what? Let's just have a break. We'll reset, and then, we won't cheat our listeners from anything that is not 100%. Yeah. But anyways, how did it go in California?
It went well. I mean, I went to visit my grandpa and my aunt are the only ones that, like, directly to me, I guess you could say, live over there. My grandpa took a fall about, like a month ago?
How old is your grandpa?
94.
Man, 94 years old.
Yeah, and he fell, hurt his back, and somebody else in the family passed, and my aunt wanted to go to the funeral, so just tried to help out with what I could. Got there a day earlier and stayed with him. And it was good. It wasn't like a let's go to the beach and hang out trip, but I feel content that I was able to go.
And you were gone for a while.
Serve him and my aunt. Yeah, so I left Wednesday morning. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, I got back. It did feel long. It felt really long.
You were gone on a vacation, basically.
Sure. Sure.
All right, cool. And I guess we never have really. We always throw ideas out there about what we want to talk about. Yeah. And the last thing that we talked about was Love is Blind, and we've still been talking about it. Like, some of the people
really blind.
Close to us have been bringing up the topic, and we've been discussing it still. And I haven't watched any new episodes since the last podcast. How many did you watch?
I watched the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Did you really?
Yes.
This is news to me because I knew that you were going to watch some because we agreed on it, but I didn't know you watched all of it.
Yeah.
Without giving anything away, what can you say? Like, as far as, will I be disappointed? Will I be like, oh my gosh?
There was one couple that I really thought was going to make it, and they surprised me.
Wait, so you watched like when they
all
go
of it.
out?
I watched the reunion too because it was juicy. I had 6 days. I even read a whole book.
Oh my God. I don't know how to feel about this. But it's worth watching.
Yeah, but there's a lot going on. Drama, obviously.
Of course. That's what makes it a show.
But you got if you're gonna watch it, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Okay. Well, I had somebody that reached out on Instagram. They're like, you guys ruined the show for me, but I'm gonna give it a watch anyways.
Oh, you have to put spoiler alert.
Well, we did. We talked about it.
Once there.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I think it was tongue in cheek. Like, I don't think it was that serious. Fine. But I thought it was just funny that they mentioned that. Yeah.
Oh
so,
my gosh,
anyways, all right. Well, I guess I have a lot of catching up to do, and we're just gonna leave that where it is. Then.
Yeah. If you're gonna watch it, I'm not gonna talk about it because I'm gonna ruin.
Okay.
I'm gonna ruin it. Like, there's just too much that happened.
That's fair. I'll probably have to take 5 days then to myself and make sure that I watch every single episode.
Remember, like I was in California, no kids, no husband.
Seriously.
Okay.
No dog.
No dog, no rabbit. And I was like in just there. So either I was reading or helping my grandpa or watching Love is Blind.
And did your grandpa or your aunt watch it?
No.
Oh, okay. She's not into that?
No. I kind of gave her the gist of it. She was like, oh, all right. Like,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I know one of the other things that we talked about as far as what we're going to talk about today, we had mentioned drama, right? Because we were talking about Love is Blind. And then you're like, man, like, why is there always... No, you said, is there always family drama that goes on everywhere with everyone?
Yeah.
Right?
I did say that.
And I was like, like, I wasn't sure if we wanted to talk about that or not. But
now I'm on the spot.
Well, now we're gonna have to, yeah.
Well, what do you think? Do you think there's like drama in every family?
I wouldn't believe there is. I mean, in my own personal family, there's drama. I think everybody has different levels of it, but
Okay.
I think it definitely exists. But my question is, or I think the thing that I have the hardest time with is, if you are family and, you know, family is everything, then why is there so much drama?
Yeah.
Like, you would think that it's the opposite. You would think that, oh, well, because we're family, let me see a different approach to family. Like, instead of feeling obligated, feeling like, oh, no, like, it's cool. Like, we're family. Like, if you can make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. If we talk, we talk. If we don't, we don't. Right. But it seems like it takes the opposite stance because we're family.
You think it's a cultural thing?
That's a good question.
I'm thinking of like, I don't want to say names, but like other cultures that are not Hispanic or, you know, Latinos. And I feel like it's very much like that. Like, no, like... I don't know. That's just the assumption I have. Obviously, I don't know. That's
the approach that I take on it. It's like with my extended family, it's like, hey, man, like, and you know this, like, and it doesn't work, obviously, but, you know, when there goes a long period of time when I haven't seen my cousins and I see them, my approach is like, hey, man, like, how's it going? Like, we're just catching up where we left off. But I can see the other side of it is like, well, you know, why are you acting like we're so close? Well, because we're family.
Right.
Right? But then they're kind of off-put.
Because you haven't talked.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, what's the problem? Like, if we're family, then...
You just pick up where you left off.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that. And I think, okay, and why did I talk about that? Because when I was in California, there was a funeral, right? And I didn't go to this funeral, but it was like the generation above. Like all of their cousins were, a lot of the cousins were there. And one of my uncles like came home and said like in between them, just kind of like pointing out different cousins here and there and how there's like a certain vibe between them. And one of my uncles said that like, yeah, like he didn't even say hi to me. Like if I had offended him like last night, you know, like, he doesn't think that there was anything wrong, but it just brought up to me like, man, like obviously it's not. Is it an ongoing thing? Is it an ongoing thing where like past generations? And so the next morning we went out to eat, and I was like, not asking him questions, but he like kind of opened up about the funeral, and I was like, yeah, like that sucks, you know, that so much time goes by, and then people are still holding on to whatever it was that happened 20, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And yeah, like what you said, instead of just like, hey, what's up? Like, I haven't seen you. How are you doing? It's like, no, like I'm going to be upset because
you did something
many times we don't even remember the main reason, but something is there, you know?
But I think that's, and you know, I've never been afraid to express my position on family. For me, my family is my direct family, which is you, my kids, my mom, even to a certain point, because, you know, like, I mean, even the Bible says, like, you leave your mom and your dad and you become one with the person that you marry, right? And even though, and there's another argument to that, yeah, the Bible does say to honor your mother and your parents at all times. It doesn't give any conditions or timelines or anything. So I get that. But for me, when I talk about family, like I'm talking about you, my 3 kids, my dog, and my rabbit now. That's my family.
You've accepted the rabbit.
You know, and I thank God that we have a great relationship with your parents, with your brother, with my sister-in-law. And it's like, okay, like it adds on to my family.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But I'm not one who is, I mean, and yeah,
like
I'm sure
goes out of your way to.
I'm sure I've gotten a lot of criticism, and I'll probably get it again. But yeah, I'm not one that is going to go out of my way. But if somebody calls me, like if one of my cousins says that I haven't talked to in quite a while, they call me and they're like, hey man, like I really need a favor. Like I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to have you over for coffee. And if it works out, it works out. But if it doesn't, like I'm not holding on to that. Like that's not going to make me upset. That's not going to make me bitter. And I would hope the same of them. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and now having said that, I'm not saying that they're, upset, bitter or anything like that.
Right.
But I'm just, speaking generally, I guess, like I don't have the best communication now with my side of the family.
No,
but when I see them, for me, it's like, hey man, like what's up? Like, like how's everything going? Like I'm happy to see them because we have shared a lot of memories. We did grow up together. So I guess the argument would be then why not want to continue to hold that?
Right. Exactly.
But that's my point. My point is that I started my own family now.
Right.
And they've started their own families. So I don't expect for them to make time for me just because we're family. Because I understand that their family now, their time and priority should be their husband, their wife, their kids.
Yeah.
And then if you can accommodate time for everybody else, then fantastic. But I try to just be at peace with everyone and then just,
I think that if you saying that, then it comes down to like everyone's expectation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have accepted the new term of family since we've been together, because before it was everybody and their mama on both sides of my parents.
And that was overwhelming for me.
That was overwhelming for you. And I do have a lot of extended family. And after a few headbutts with you and I, it was like, okay, well, is it not that I had to choose, because I don't think you ever put me in a position to choose, but I mean, it was like too much for you.
Yeah, I got to the point where I didn't put you in a position to choose, but I was like,
But
you know
I
what?
chose.
Like, just like go. Like, I don't need to be there. So you go. You have a good time. I'm just gonna be right here.
Yeah.
But then that didn't go well over.
Well, no. But like going back to what I was saying is, I feel like I've accepted that family is us 5.
Yeah.
With the dog and the bunny. And like I was explaining to somebody like last week, was that everybody else is an add-on.
Yeah.
Like a +1, and if it works, great. Like I don't expect, even my parents, like I know they live like a mile from here, but there's times where we go days without talking, and
but we just pick up where we left off.
And then, or I don't see my dad. Well,
I guess maybe that's not such a good example, because I mean we see them on Tuesday. We see them on
but when or like my brother.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better
like
example.
I see him maybe once a week. I know Tuesdays I'm busy or he's busy or we see each other in passing. I can easily say like, why doesn't he call me, or why, but am I doing the same for him?
Yeah.
But I also understand that he is busy. He's running his home, with his wife and his boys, and
he's working. He
and I know
is doing his business.
And I know for sure that when I call him, he'll pick up. Hey, what's up? Like, if I want to drop by and if I want to put that effort in, he'll tell me yes, no, come, and vice versa. I want to believe that he knows that too.
Yeah.
Like, the few times that he's kind of like dropped by, but I think it just goes back to like expectation and whatever expectation either we grew up in or that we've kind of like grandfathered into, But I do feel like the adjustment for the family term was hard for me. But I am thankful that, okay, well, we're at peace here and we could stay that way.
Yeah.
What I mean?
But I'm extreme though, so
You are okay.
because even
yeah,
like
you
I
are
mean,
extreme.
I will go weeks, maybe even a month, without calling my mom or dad just to check in on them. But that's just I know I'm extreme about family and the way that people see it and
I
all
just
that.
think you like to be isolated.
Sorry about that. That was my
I
chair.
think you like to be isolated. Do you?
Isolated alone?
Just like, well, I knew you were going to say that because like not in your room by yourself without us, but like, I feel like in your head, it's like, okay, if we're good, then everybody else should be good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So it's like I don't know. Because I notice, obviously, I know that you don't call your mom because I ask you, have you called your mom? Have you called your mom? And it is weird to me, but it's also been like 11 years and it's been the same thing.
But I think it's like, okay, like for me, and this is where, I mean, I know that there's something wrong with me and the way that I think and the way that I process things because, like, for instance, I'm going to use my friend Gustavo as an example. Tavo. Like, we don't text, we don't call, we see each other at church, but I consider him one of my best friends.
Okay.
And we don't hang out like, every now and then we do. Like, we'll go to the mall together or
We've
they'll
done
have
that,
us
like,
over.
one time.
No, I know, but that's my point. That
Yeah, it's not like often.
but I guess that's what you're saying, expectations.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't have any expectations of him. But I know that if I call him or you call him to come put something up in our house, he's going to do it. You know, and I would expect that, you know, he has the same expectations of me, probably not as a handyman, but if he was in a situation with his family or whatever, I'm going to be there for him, like regardless. So I think for me, like that is the definition, not of family, but just that's what I'm after is that like low maintenance, but I'm there for you. Like, and you know that. Yeah. Instead of having to prove to you like, oh my God, like we didn't see each other, we didn't call, we didn't text.
Are they okay?
Are we good? Like, well, why wouldn't we be good? You know, like.
I think that's just people pleasing too, though. But that's another topic.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been there where I used to be like people pleaser, 1,000 level 1,000, and I would like if somebody didn't talk to me, like, oh my gosh, like. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? And it's
never
exhausting.
Been like that.
It's exhausting. Now, here's a next question that just came to mind. The girls are going to grow up and they're going to have their families, and what is going to be our expectation then? Because for me, it's like I want to be around them.
Of course,
the same way that I want my mom around, or I want to be around my grandkids.
Okay,
you know?
but why do we want to be around their kids?
Because I want to see my generations grow and flourish.
But that's our
I mean?
family though. Does that make sense? Like we created
and this is
them.
where like my mind, and I'll be honest with you, like this is where like, okay, how do I explain it without like being like.
But I think this is why the Bible
obvious.
says like, I think this is where the Bible says like honor your mother and your father. So we're gonna be there in hopes that they want to continue to create those memories like we do with your in-laws. Like we do with my mom. Like my mom is here and we're convincing her to stay longer so that we can enjoy her more. Like we're honoring.
Funny because, parentheses. So she called your dad, right? And I said, hey, like, do I change your ticket? Like, what are we doing? And then she said, you know, change it. And I'm like, okay. And I said, do you want to ask your husband first? And then she's like, I'm already on this side like of the country.
What is he going to do?
Just change it. And then she came back and said, you know what, let me ask him. Yeah. So she called him, and then he said, why are you going to stay? And she's like, well, that's a few more days that I can see the girls. So, like, it just warmed my heart because I feel like that's the whole point of her being here, right?
And that's the point that I'm getting to, though, is that, like, we're honoring our parents by letting them be a part of our next generation.
Yeah.
And I want to believe that it's because of the way that we were raised, too. Like, you know, like, so we're raising our kids to hopefully be the same way.
Yeah. But I mean, okay. Worst case would be somebody comes and what if one of their husbands think like you? Like, no, well, this is our family.
But that's what I mean. Like, I think like that, but I'm able to, like, again, I'm sure it helps that we have a great relationship with your parents. So it's easy for me to, I mean, we live together.
Yeah, I know.
We live together. Maybe that's why also,
Yeah,
like, I mean, I feel like we just bonded more. I don't know, but you're right. I mean, what if that happened? I had never thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, those are just things that, because obviously us five as five, okay, but there's gonna be a time where they're gonna have their own spouse and eventually their own children, and then it's gonna be like, well, I don't want to think. I mean, I know you and I are gonna remain, but then it's like, yeah, it's just a question, like,
Yeah.
like then what? Like,
Man,
I want to be a part of their family,
but
I want to be there to see them grow into their family,
But I think okay, I think that now that the ball is on our court to set the expectations. Like girls, like once they get to
Yeah.
that age and they meet someone, it's like and I think that's why it was easy for me with your parents, because even though at first it seemed like it was a hard shell when we were just trying to get to know each other, once they knew we were getting married or we wanted to get married, then everything changed.
Right.
Then everything opened up. Then it's like, hey, come over to the house. Like I
Right.
remember, like I never went upstairs ever
Never.
in in the townhome where they lived. Like never.
Never, yeah.
And I remember the first time that I went up there, I was like, oh my god, like I made it. Like that's how I felt. Like I made it. Like I'm part of the family now, And but they created that expectation. Like when I wouldn't go to your little, the Mondays when you guys would like do something together, family night. It's even hard for me to say that. I'm just kidding. No, but when you guys would, and I would stay home, like your dad would be like, no, like we want Marvin around.
Right.
So
even that was like too much for you sometimes.
Right, but that made me feel like, really? Like they want me around? Like that's crazy. Like why? Like, like I didn't understand. And obviously I think a lot of it just has to do with my own growing up, my own experience. My mom had no choice. Like she worked worked. And I was alone most of the times as a kid.
And I think the expectation just like.
But yeah, that's what I was getting to. They created the expectation of, hey, we want to be as involved as you'll let us. Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, at least on my behalf, I don't feel like boundaries are stepped over. Like, your dad's always very careful. Well, maybe now, right? They'll stop by unexpectedly. But it's not like, it's like, oh yeah, like come on in, like.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, yeah, they would always text first, check in with Marvin. Like, he gave me the respect as the man of my house, of my family, and I think that's what I mean. Like, if he was able to, like, even with like little things when they come over for dinner, which isn't that often, but when they do, he wants to know where I'm gonna sit so that he can then find another, And the girls ask, like, Papa, like, you like to? He's like, no, but this is your dad's home. Like, I want to honor him, and I appreciate that. I love that, but. Again, what am I getting to is they set the expectation for us to have them be involved as much as we want them to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I mean, you said it. It goes down to expectations.
And I think that's why there's so much. That could be one of the biggest reasons why there's so much drama. Like in between families or extended families, is because there's a birthday party and there's an invitation out. And even though an invitation is a invitation, you have the right to say yes or no, but there is that expectation that's created of like, no, because you are family, you have to be there. And if you're not, it's usually because something's wrong.
But that's what I have a problem with.
Yes. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it, but then it goes back to it. Is that just us thing? Like a Hispanic thing?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. But in all of this, because my uncle mentioned, a few things here and there, and at the funeral that he's like I don't know how old he is, honestly, like 60s.
Yeah.
And things that he doesn't even, he's like, what the heck,
Like, what did I do to them?
What did I do to them years ago?
Yeah.
That they are still like so holding on to it, and here's the thing, like, I have a lot of family, and I'm gonna open my heart.
Okay.
You look nervous.
No, I'm good.
I have a lot of family, and there is cousins that I talk to maybe weekly, once a month. There's cousins that I haven't talked to in about a year, more than that. Mm-hmm. And there's, different people that I see every week or whatever, every 6 months. But I want to make it public that, like, I feel like I'm at peace with everyone. Mm-hmm. And like I'm thinking like one of my aunt was like, I don't know if I told her or whatever, but like, let's say my grandpa, like when my grandma passed, like a lot of us got together, you know, and she was like the reason why we got together, and my cousins were there and we were kind of there for each other, and it was like a hard time for us. And, you know, okay, well, my grandpa's 94. Like, honestly, he looks like he's going to live for like 102 years.
Yeah, let's pray he does. Yeah.
You know, like he's still strong. But I don't want it to be awkward because of me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want one of my cousins or one of my aunts or one of my uncles to walk in and be like, Está Carolyn, no me sa-" You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I live in my own bubble, which can be a good thing and maybe a bad thing for others.
Right.
Because I do believe, like, if I'm at peace here at home with you and my girls, then, okay, like, the heck with the rest of the world. And when I do run into people, like, I feel like I would be that. Like, hey, what's up? Like, because my heart is truly clean towards my family on both sides, you know? And, differences, decisions that have been made, things that have been said, okay, but I believe in my heart, and I feel like that's where I was like, I don't want to get to a gathering, to get somewhere, and then for people to walk out talking about, like, me, that whatever happened and I was the one that was holding a grudge, you know, like, or that I came off that way. So that's kind of what was in my mind, like, with that whole conversation and the funeral and the family. And that's why I told you, like, it's sad to see that some, you know, that it can linger on in so many families, in between people. And even your mom was sharing, like, how there's sisters and uncles and blah, 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 that still to this day don't talk to each other from something that happened when they were kids. You know, your grandma's gone. She's gone, you know, and these things happen, like, literally decades ago, and people are still holding on to it. And but yeah, so if you're hearing this and our blood is running through each other's veins, I'm at peace with you and I love you very much. And like, I think that's just important to me for people to know that
and I think that's my biggest thing is exactly that. Like, I'm good. Like, yeah, we don't talk, we don't text, and that's cool. Like, you know, like, we don't need to be that connected. Like, yes, there was a point in time where we were. Like, there was a point in time where we, like, freaking really slept in the same bed and everything, you know, like, and I hold those memories dearly. But you were married, you have your family, and I have my family, and if you want to get together, then it's a two-way thing. Like, if it comes out of your heart that you want to come over one day, then reach out to me.
Right.
You know?
And I, how do I say it? Like, and I think that part of it is, I accept that part too. Because before I was like, well, they don't text me, but I know that, like, okay, if I want to reach out to one of my cousins, maybe they're going to be like, what the heck is wrong with Carol? But sure, I want to believe that they'll accept my invitation. Yeah. But I know also that if I don't do it, it's not because there's something there. Exactly. It's just because I'm doing my life and I'm assuming that you're doing your life. And it's hard to get something on the schedule to meet with people in general. Like, so yeah, I think you've mentioned this before. I know we've talked, like, with Annie about it, like, trying to teach her how there's also people that seasons. Yeah. You know, and I believe that's the same with even our own blood, that, yeah, okay, maybe at one point I was really close to my cousin that's now in Australia, but you know what? Like, I love her, and she's one that will call me randomly. We don't talk often, and when she does, it's like, hey, like, where have you been? What are you doing? And she was in my life for that season, and she's still my cousin. I still love her, you know, and we move on. She has her own family and blah, blah, blah. But
and if she called and said, like, hey, I need you here in Australia, you would go or do everything possible.
I would do everything possible to help her.
Yes.
And everyone else that and I want to believe that they would do the same for me.
Yeah. I agree.
I feel like they would.
Well, that's how I feel. Like, I mean, okay, I guess I'll put it out there too, right? No, you don't. No, but for me, it's just
because I'm being sincere.
No, I know you are. No, but for me too, like, I mean, I feel in my heart there's nothing against anyone, and you know, I hope that I hope that one day, yes, we can relive what we used to. But for now, like, I'm good.
Okay, and I feel like that's also, like, I don't think we can.
No, of course not, because it was different times of your life.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, but with what you just said,
But I feel like people are chasing that.
Yes. Okay. And even in general, like, for example, like, okay, when you and I just met, like, you can't say like, oh, I wish we could feel the same thing. It's like, that was a decade ago. You know, I was in a different state.
Yeah.
You were insecure. I was like, it's just things that shape us and make us. So I feel like sometimes families or groups, families are trying to like chase that high again, maybe of like, oh, let's get back to this. And because it's not like that, then something's wrong. Do you know what I mean?
I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree.
So let's say there's like a family reunion or whatever. Okay, well, like, yeah, is it going to be maybe a little awkward if we haven't seen each other in a while? Sure, but let's not try to recreate what was already lived. Let's create new things going forward. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think that was a point that I made that I wasn't intending to. But yes, I think that's, we try to hang on to what we knew. And
because and that part is normal too, because it's what we do know. But
what I mean is, we feel that because we're family, we don't change. Oh no, like, we're family, like, things don't change, but things do change, because at the end of the day, we're just another human being that evolves. And if you're not evolving, if you're not changing, then there's a problem.
If you evolve, people have something to say.
Yes.
If you don't evolve, people have something to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, again, like, a lot of times I feel like I live in my own bubble, and that could be good and that could be bad.
Yes, I agree.
And I know we have church and, the girls and stuff, but like, I don't use like my energy and stuff to check in on people, and I just pray that they're doing well.
Yeah.
And that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. I know if I really wanted to and I put in the effort, I could have many great and strong relationships, but living in that bubble, I feel like it just like kind of protects me, maybe. I don't know. And then again, like, that could be good, that could be bad, but that's why I'm like here, especially now with the homeschool. Like, I really don't, if I don't have to go out, I don't go out. I'm here with the girls. We're at peace. My heart's at peace, and we're thriving.
I believe
I hope so.
I believe that.
Oh,
well,
my goodness.
I'm obviously interested in knowing what everybody else has to say, and I'm glad that we're able to talk about this, because, like, I'm good. I'm good with everyone, and the Bible does say that, to be good with people from what is in your control.
Right.
Basically.
Okay, and we can close with that, but I feel like sometimes we want to control other people's actions, and when we can't, then it creates like, well, no, like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you know what I mean? But live your life, be at peace,
and let other people live their life and be at peace.
And one of the things that my uncle said, it's like seeing other people succeed. Like, man, like, I know I'm not on social media, but like, I pray that those around us, your family, my family, like, are prospering, are being blessed, are traveling, or having babies, or buying houses. Like,
absolutely, that's
what we want. Like, and for them to rejoice when they see that we're advancing and being blessed and prospering. So if it's in your control, be at peace with those around you, and don't get caught up in the holding on to something that passed. Days go by so fast. It's crazy.
That season. Well, I want to end with this. I know you're not on social media, but did you hear the big news?
Oh my gosh, about Kate Middleton.
Yes,
I did
Kate
this
Middleton.
Morning at the meeting I went to.
That's crazy that she has cancer.
I know.
Why do we feel so attached to the royal family? Because when I read that, I was like, oh my God.
Okay, so I was at the meeting this morning, right?
Yeah.
And this lady to my right, she picked up their phone and she went, and all of us kind of looked over at her, but the lady who was speaking didn't stop talking. And I'm just staring at her. Her eyes got watery. And I thought, oh my gosh,
dang.
somebody from directly to her. Yeah. After the meeting, she's like, you guys, Kate Middleton has cancer. And I'm like,
yeah. But you know what's crazy is that, okay, right before this news came out, which I think was today,
Okay.
like all the news medias are speculating and bashing her, and like because she just disappeared. Like people were saying that she had died. People were wondering if there was an affair. Like, you know, it's like, man, all these freaking things that were being said. And now that she came out finally and said that she was diagnosed with cancer, oh, now everybody like loves her
Well, she
again.
probably has like been going through treatment and stuff.
I'm sure something, yeah. But I just, it goes to show you that, you know, sometimes, how do I say this? Like,
what?
Because we didn't know what was going on, and because she went radio silence, then you just were going with whatever idea the media was. Yeah. And now that we know, it's like, oh, now we feel bad for her now, you know. And I just, I mean, I don't know why we're attached to the royal family so much. I think it's just because part of all of us wants to be royal in that sense, right? Is that what it is?
I mean, maybe it's just you and I.
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people that care about the royal family. I'm gonna put a poll up on that.
I don't want nobody bashing.
No, we're not bashing them. But anyway.
Okay, speaking of expectations, like I was listening to this podcast today when they interviewed the single mom on Love is Blind. Jess.
Yeah.
And they interviewed her, and they asked her like, because before this Love is Blind, she had like 5 Instagram posts. Like, wasn't a big deal. Now,
of course, yeah.
But they asked her like, what has been the hardest thing? And she says the criticism of the moms, like bashing on her, like, you're such a bad mom. I can't believe you took your daughter and like did la la la. It's like, and she's like, that's like the hardest. That's been like the hardest thing for her to face, is that like moms, you know, we're supposed to stick together and whatever, you know, like we're learning as we go, but because every mom has an expectation of whatever. Like, they're making her feel like terrible. And
I was open. Like, that was my biggest criticism, was her, but not that she's a good or a bad mom. I think people. Oh yeah, that's
what
I mean. Like, that's what I mean. Like, people, it's like, you know, like, wait, being on a show and not disclosing that you're a mom until, you know, episode 4 or 5, whatever the heck it was, that doesn't make her a good or a bad mom. Right. Yeah. That just means that decision of withholding that information, it's questionable. But yeah, for people to now start criticizing her that she's a good mom or a bad mom.
Yeah, it's just.
Come on, people.
I know.
I think we just get too involved. And you know what I started doing recently?
Reading the comments.
Yes. Yeah, I started reading comments.
That was my biggest thing on social media, is always reading the comments. People they get so like worked up.
I was talking about baseball on somebody's whatever, and they must have gone to my personal profile, and they're like, "You're a pastor, like you shouldn't be treating people like that."
What are you doing?
Oh, I didn't do anything. Like, it was funny. Like, we're just, you know how passionate I get about baseball, and I thought we were just having a passionate discussion about two teams. Well, no, somebody, like, I'm telling you, somebody went into my personal profile, was like, "You're a pastor, you shouldn't be treating people like this," and I'm just like laughing, like, come on, man. Like, we're just, but you know, I said, we're just two people that are passionate about baseball. Yeah, but you don't have to be a DICK about it. And I'm like, and it's not even the person that I was having the argument with.
It's somebody else.
I'm
telling you.
It's somebody else. And it wasn't just one comment. I got at least 3 to 4 comments about just that, or just the angle of, you know, God would not be happy. I hope, like, it went to the point where somebody said, "I hope God treats you like this when you get to heaven, the way you're treating people." And I'm like, you cannot base my relationship upon God because of what you're reading. Like, you're not even hearing any content or voice or anything. Like, you're just literally going off of a post.
Comment.
A comment. Yeah, it's not even a post. It's a comment.
I love that.
And the person that made the comment, like,
MIA.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And I don't know. These people get so worked up over something that se meten. Like, literally, it's always like that. I miss reading those comments.
Yeah. So. Anyways, I guess we'll wrap it up. It's close to 40 minutes. But yeah, I'm interested to know what your position is on family. Maybe I figured it out. I doubt it, but maybe there's something else that works for you. I would be really interested in knowing what the dynamic is. And if you're somebody that doesn't like you guys have a happy family and like the dynamic that you have works, I would
almost
love to
positive
know what that is.
They're probably not Hispanic.
I guess that's a good poll too.
We gotta investigate.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, anyways, we're going to leave it at that. Remember, please go write us a review. Give us a 5-star liking. Follow us on Instagram. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yes. Have a good week.
All right, guys. God bless.